How are we doing, guys? It's Tom here from On the Road, and we've got another video for you, which I'm looking forward to running through with you guys. Just making sure the audio is working. Yeah, we're all good, I think. Nice. So, so Shopify, the end of last year, announced that they would bring out customer account extensions, which are about to be rolled out. I'm pretty sure. It's still in preview mode, but I thought because they're about to get rolled out, I am 99% sure that I want to do a little tutorial for you, and you can get started trying to play around with them as a merchant or as a developer. So if you watched the previous videos, you have seen that to create a Shopify extension, you need to go Shopify App in it, then go into your open that up, and then you want to go into your terminal and you want to go Shopify App Generate Extension. It will then ask you to give it a name, so you don't have to do this bit on the end if you don't like, because these links, so these three, and then I'll also give you this link as well because we'll touch on this, the component for the customer account UI extensions. But these links will be in the description below, and they kind of guide you through this, which I'm going to talk through you without kind of using this page, because I've already had a bit of a mess around with it and kind of understood what's going on. So if we go to Shopify App Generate Extension, and for this first link, which is the order status page and the fulfillment status of the order, you need to do 2 app generates. So you want to go into your app, ignore that. You want to go, I thought I copied and pasted it. Sorry, guys. You want to go Shopify App Generate Extension, enter, and then it asks you to enter a name and use what language you want that in. Because the demos they've given us, Shopify, are in TypeScript, I chose TypeScript React just because I want to compare and go through it. But you use what you're comfortable with, or just use TypeScript and React to just understand what's going on, and then you can do whatever language you want in the future. So the first installment which you'll do is this Shopify Generate. That'll generate the extension. Then you need to go into the TOML file for that, which is here. So I called it order status, this extension right here. And then you go to TOML and just copy, delete out the old stuff that they give you as a template, and then paste in what they give you here. So just copy right up here. Then do the same for block extension top TypeScript, TSX. And you want to, what happens when you generate a customer account extension is it gives you 2 files. You want to delete one of the files and then rename them, then delete out the old context. So you just want to, if I do an example for you actually, just so you know what you're doing, if you go to App Generate, it might actually tell me I can't do it because you're only allowed 5. I'm pretty sure you're only allowed 5 checkout extensions, just general extensions per app. I don't know if they changed that or if it's different for development view. So customer account UI, this is what you want here. So press enter. Test. But I'm literally going to delete it straight after. I'm going to choose TypeScript React because obviously that's what the example's in. Perfect. So it's made that. Let's just close that window down because we don't really need it now. Test. So if you go into the TOML file for that, you will see it's got like a default template. It's got 2 targets in there, which can get quite confusing, but we're going to touch into that. Most of the times you're only going to have 1 target because you can't fully mix and match. The best principle to go off, just when you do targets, and I'll touch on it again later on, is, for example, if your extension is for this page and this page only, then you'll most likely be able to do two source files type scripts like this. But if you won't be able to mix and match, you won't be able to put one file in here, one file for this, and then one file for the order status page. If it all works on this page here, then most likely you can do that. You can target two elements in there. If it all works for this page, if there's two elements for this page, then most likely you can do that and you can target two elements for this page, but you can't mix and match. Again, for the first example they give you, so the order status page, it wants you to create two extensions because they work in two different ways. So we won't need the two file components here. So you'll just delete one of them, move to trash, copy and paste the elements for the TOML file that it gives you here. So copy and paste up here. And then you want to go to your points block extension.tsx and copy and paste this content here and put it into here. Oh no, I don't want to ruin what I've got going on. Right, let me close that. So you want to copy and paste it in here. So you'll delete all this, paste in the contents it's given you. But what you also need to do is make sure the file names match up. So obviously at the moment they match up because this is the old TOML file. But if you have a look here, their TOML file is called, they're targeting the products, the points block extension.tsx. So you'd copy paste this and you just go rename, and you'd already have copied in and pasted in the new contents for that. So that's all you've got to do for that. So if you want to test all of these out in one app, then the best thing to do, just so you don't have to keep Shopify app and dev in it, is to go through these documents here that I'll copy and paste in description. Go through these, operate generate extension, copy and paste all these, and do the same for the full page. So all three. Or if you're just doing one by one, you can Shopify app dev straight after you've followed all these steps. But I would suggest, because if you copy and paste all these, for example, and then do Shopify app dev, which is basically launching your extensions in a development environment, then you will soon have to reset that dev environment if you then copy and paste in these new TOML files and generate another extension. So if you want to test all of these features, then just copy and paste them in one app and then launch it. But for demo purposes, I've already done that because that takes 5-10 minutes and it's just me copy and pasting stuff in. So let's demonstrate to you what's going on here. So we open for the first demo they give us, which is on the order status page. So this order has been fulfilled, by the way. So it doesn't really matter for this top element here. So you see it goes, you've earned 1,000 points from this order, few rewards. This is this file. As you can see here, that's what's been put in to the front UI. So banner, block stack, text block, the text that we want in that text block. You've earned 1,000 points for this order. And then there's a link and it goes few rewards. We haven't put a to, so there's no URL linked to that link or that text. So actually that won't go anywhere at the moment, but you could link it to your Shopify app review or your loyalty points app. So yeah, and then we're just pulling through the components here. just so you know, there are some extra customer account UI extension components, which we're going to touch on later on, which are pretty cool, I think. But also the customer account extensions use the same extensions as the checkout extensions. So if you go to checkout UI extensions, again, I'll put these links in the description below. You can use these same ones here in the customer account. That's the only confusing bit, I think, because if you go to this documentation here, they say this is all the components you get, but actually you can use both in the customer account. So yeah, that's a good to know. So yeah, so that's what that block's doing here. Again, this targeting here is customer account order status. So that's where we are. We're in the order status page here. And it goes block render, which basically, if you ever made a Shopify section before, means you can render it anywhere on the page. And again, these settings in the TOML file, which are very important, the targeting bit's very important anyway, at least match up to what we have here. So block render, so that's rendering anywhere, block render, and the module, so the where we're targeting it is named correctly in the source. So source points block extension.tsx. So the second part they have in this tutorial here, which is generate another extension here, and then they ask you to update the TOML file, and then also create another file called fulfillment delivery.tsx. So that's exactly what we've done here. So you can see there's our order status one, which I was showing you earlier. So we minimize that and open up the fulfillment extension. And you'll see the source file here and the TOML file here. So the way this is working is it renders customer account order status page, which is where we are here, order status page. But this one you can't really put wherever you want. It is static renders, what they call it. Again, I'll put documentation to the targeting rendering for the customer account. Sorry. So we go to the documentation. Where is it? Is it here? I know it's right at the bottom here. Targets. So these are all the places we can target for the customer account. So we're the order status page. We are, where are we? Fulfillment details, render after, or yeah. So you can only render after the fulfillment details, which is interesting actually. So this is what we've got going here. So it's rendering after the fulfillment details. It's on its way, shipment's on its way because I've fulfilled this order. Tell us how we did for a chance to win 1,000 points. Write review. Again, this block here is just pulling through the components and the text. We haven't actually got this button linked to anything, but we could do with other components. And again, the TOML file all matches this. Fulfillment delivery.typescript. .tsx, which matches that file name there, and again the target matches the target we've got here. So yeah, that's essentially what it's doing. Just quickly to show you this, if we go into an order that hasn't been fulfilled, you'll see the please write review isn't shown because it hasn't been fulfilled. So that's an easy way to, without doing any sort of API fetch or anything, you can easily hide and display stuff depending on if it's been fulfilled or not, because it's just not going to be rendered if the item hasn't been fulfilled. So that's quite a useful tip to know. So yeah, so that first example they give for us is actually quite basic. So it's a good one to start with. yeah, and I'd recommend that if you don't want to delve straight into the complex stuff. So now we go on to a feature I think is really cool. I'm just going to play this video here. So if you go on to report a problem, and you could then submit that as a customer service problem. So this one is going to demonstrate to you how to use two targeting features for two files in one. So order action it's called, I've named it. So you'll see if I open both of these and the TOML file, let's quickly first jump to the TOML file and also jump to the page where it's displayed. So as you can see, the feature I'm going to go into review is called report a problem. We go back to the code. The TOML file has got two targets here, one for menu action extension, which is right here, and one for menu action model extension, which is going to be the pop-up that you see when you click on report a problem. This works because they're both rendered in the same place. So customer account order action and customer account order action menu item render. So that's just menu item render within here. So that's the menu item. And then this is still rendering within the order dashboard here, this screen here, but it's just got a bit more of a free reign. And you're allowed to do that because they're in the same page. So if we go to this first item here, instantly you can see there's a bit of API requests going on here. So we're asyncing the API from the order page. And I have console logged this for you to make it a bit, so I can show you what's going on. Console log. So at the moment, they're just doing a GraphQL mutation here. So they're passing through the order IDs on this page. So all these order IDs. And they are then putting that into a query. So order ID, order, and then pull back the fulfillment status of that order. And then they are then passing a GraphQL query. And then the result is await result.json, the data within that. And what it wants to find out is if that has been fulfilled or not. So I've console logged this here for you to make more sense. So console log has fulfillments. So basically, this will come up as true for the orders that have been fulfilled and then the data that comes along with that. So if we look here, all these have not been fulfilled apart from one, which is this one here. So false, 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 false. We've got one true here, which must be this order here. And we can have a look at the data that's been passed back through this GraphQL mutation. And it's being passed back as confirmed. So perfect. Otherwise, it would be passed back as null, which then would declare this as false because data nodes length, and if it come back as nothing, so null, then that would go as false. But that's passed through as true for us. So then what happens then? So what happens then is we're going to then pass this value through menu action extension for each item. Show action, we're passing that through as a boolean. So what we're doing here, if show action is false, then return null. But if it isn't, then we want to display a button called report a problem. Now we've got to this bit. The key bit here is if this button doesn't have a to, so we go to the customer checkout. So you see buttons, they've got a toString, which you can specify the URL to go to, or an action. If it's empty, then what it will do, if you have got it in your files, it will activate customer account action. So this component here, and this component can be found here in this URL, which I'll again put in the description as well. So if button is empty and when it's pressed, it will activate this component here. So that is how we can link these two files and get them to work in synchronously together. So yeah, but now let's go on to this file here. So we're pulling through some values here, and then what we're doing here is if customer is a B2B customer, we will display a 6 value in our select drop down. Again, I've console logged a few things here just so I can show you what's going on when I do show how it works. Again, is customer B2B, authenticate account, purchasing company. If it's current, then it'll be a customer. This on submit is empty at the moment, but what you can do is add a API request in there to when someone submits a problem with their order, you can send that to certain places. Again, this is a customer account activation, so this is the module that pops up, and we've got some buttons within this. So primary action, secondary action, report or close, and then we've got our select drop down within the form, and the form's got a submit button as well. So if I go back to this and clear the console log, so I've already shown you that bit, if I click on report a problem, you'll see the console logs that I logged here. Where did I log them? Here. They're appearing now. So authenticate account. It gives my customer account here with the ID, and then also tells me if I've got a purchasing company, so B2B company, and I haven't, so it comes at undefined. So theoretically, we should only get 5 choices, and we do. So this is the select drop down within here, and then we can submit this on the form submit. So the report, which actually is this button here. So we could go report, and that would carry out an API request if we had it here. But we don't, so it's simply just gone set as loading true. So I'm pretty sure what happens then is it then just closes it after basically just under a second, and that's what happened when you just saw that. So yeah, that's essentially what that feature is. I think it's pretty cool. It's got loads of scope to do really cool stuff, and I'm excited to test it out. You guys give us some ideas of what I can do and show you for another YouTube video, or see what other people come up with. But I think that's pretty cool, to be honest. So yeah, then the final and last feature is the full page. So we can now add full pages into our customer account area. So this example they give us is a wish list area. So if I close these down and go to full page, source, thumbnail file, and then profile block. So this is the block which will feature in my profile area. So let's visit that area first. So I had to create 2 extensions for this because they're not linked and they're both in 2 different areas. Just remember they're in 2 different areas, they have to be 2 different extensions. So I'll go through all this code view in a minute, but if I quickly show you how this works, so go to my profile. This is the block here, pretty straightforward, kind of like how we've done it before. Here are the components we're pulling through. Profile block render, so this can go anywhere on this page, and then these are the components we're putting through. The only difference is link to, you can see this is not a URL, it goes extension, wishlist, extension, React. So the way this works is if you want to link a page to a link or a button in customer accounts, you have to go extensions, colons, and then the handle of that extension. So yeah, and the TOML, and then the TOML file for the full page, so the wishlist page, the handle is up here, so wishlist extension React. So we've just copy and pasted that handle and put it into the link file here. So that's why it links together. Otherwise it wouldn't work. So if we click on this, that'll take us to the page. And as you can see, we've got a wish list here, which we can view product. I don't think it's got the link actually. So that bit's kind of straightforward. But I want to get into the full page bit. So the TOML file looks like this, pretty straightforward. Customer account, page, render. That's all you need to know really, and that's going to create its own page for you. These are all different components, so pretty bog standard, kind of like the customer account. I just want to get, so they're rendering through the product information. It's not rendered through, has it rendered through? Let's console log all this actually for you. And then it's doing, just so you know here, when we do fetch, which is user fetch, so on page load it does this, and then it maps through the items. So the query it's doing is query products. Okay, so this is simply all it's doing here is putting through the, let's have a quick look. Hey, where's that query? Yeah, it's just putting through the first 10 products of the store, it looks like, which is an interesting one. Okay. Let's just wish list. So again, this looks like it needs a bit of configuring, and we've done GraphQL mutations in past videos, but I think I might look at this for a future video for you and get this to work properly, because it looks like it's not passing through the URL for the product. So I wonder what's wrong there. Again, you've got the emphasis. It's kind of doing a query here, and then it's then setting that product data through to the state, which is the wish list state here, and then it passes through all those details here. I wonder if the delete wish list item works. Should I give that a go quickly? So that works. That's a pretty cool feature. I wonder if you reset the page if it reloads. Cool. So just off the bat, because I'm looking this in live time as I'm describing it to you, but it looks off the back that it's preloading the products just from previously bought, or it's getting the first 10. Yeah, it's getting the first 10 products previously bought. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, okay. Which again, we probably could do better than that, really. Yeah, so you kind of need to create some sort of just off the back of it, I'm just saying maybe some sort of meta field where when meta field in the customer database in the back end where it goes wish list, and then when they add that item to wish list, it gets added to the meta field list, and then you could pull that meta field list through here, this query, and then you could also, when you go, where is it? Delete wish list items. I wonder where that function is. That function's here. When you do that, when you click on delete wish list item, it could just take the product out of the meta field. Again, there might be an idea for a future video. Please leave a comment, and please give us a like as well, and your feedback, and subscribe. But yeah, give us a comment on future suggestions on what we should do for these customer account extensions, because I'm more than up for it. They look proper cool, and there's a lot we can do with it. So yeah, cheers guys.